Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to today's Licensing Subcommittee. I'm Councillor Scott Pater-Harris. Just before we do any introduction, we have to do our election of chair as the first item on the agenda. I'm going to ask Ben Attrell, our legal advisor, to call for a nomination and a seconder.
Members, can I have a proposer and a seconder for the chair, please?
May I nominate Scott for chair?
I second Scott for chair.
Thank you. As I said, I'm Councillor Scott Pater-Harris. I will chair today's meeting. Just before I do anything, I just want to go through some housekeeping. So if the continuous fire alarm sounds, please evacuate the room and the public gallery by the stairwells. Do not attempt to use the lifts. Please assemble at the Queen Victoria statue in front of the civic officers. In order to comply with the Guildhall Trust Fire Marshal regulations, anyone who signed in at the reception desk should sign out when leaving the building at the end of today's meeting. Everyone that is speaking, can you please use the microphone? So just press the red button, the red light will go on here, and you will be able to speak, and then obviously turn it off at the end. We're just going to go around the table and do some introduction. And as I said, I'm Councillor Scott Pater-Harris. I'm chairing today's meeting. I'm also the chair of the Licensing Committee as a whole, and I'm going to go to my left.
I'm Councillor Ian Holder, and I'm a ward councillor for St Thomas Ward in Southsea.
I'm Jane Delino, Local Democracy Officer.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Ben Attrell. I'm a solicitor employed by the council, and I'll be advising the subcommittee whilst they make their decision this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Derek Stone. I'm the Principal Licensing Officer.
Oh, Your Honour, in regards to the housekeeping, we have not been advised that we need to sign in the reception, and we did present ourselves.
No, don't worry. If you haven't signed in, it's not a problem. It's anyone who has signed in. You haven't signed in, so don't worry.
No problem.
Can you just introduce yourself, please?
I'm Fatima Monica. I'm the owner of Carioca, the Brazilian barbecue and bar in Port Southsea.
I'm Marcia. I'm Monica's friend, just here to give a quick help, if possible.
My name is Kim Hadley. I'm a resident. I live directly opposite.
I'm Mrs. Matthews, and I live on the back of the restaurant. There's only a fence between us and them.
I'm Chris Campbell. I live near the restaurant, just sort of behind it along a bit. Councillor Shark-Gerrard, Central Southsea Ward.
Thank you. Just before we start today, the legal advisor, Ben Attrell, just wants to address the panel at the start of the meeting regarding the 3 agenda items and go through the hearing procedure.
Yes. I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I'm presuming the next item on the agenda would be calling members for any interests. So, members, do you have any interests to declare?
I have no interest, members.
Marvellous. That's duly noted. In which case, I'll just quickly take the time to run everybody through the procedure that's going to follow today. And I should stress, I've seen the representation for the Mackenzie friend. These are not legal proceedings. They're generally fairly informal, but there is a procedure that's followed. The process will be that to start, the licensing officer will explain the report, explain what's effectively led to the hearing today. All the parties to the hearing, so the applicant and those members of the public that have made representations in environmental health, will then be able to ask questions of the licensing officer. There then will be the applicant's opportunity to explain what the application is, why they're seeking the application. It's a variation application this afternoon. And then all the parties similarly will be able to ask questions of the applicant. I then suspect the chair will want to hear from environmental health, and similarly all the parties will be able to ask questions of environmental health, and then each of the residents in turn will address the subcommittee, and likewise all the parties will be able to ask questions. So everybody will effectively have their say, and then every party will have the opportunity to ask questions of that party after they've had their say. There then follows a process of summing up, generally speaking in reverse, with the applicant to sum up last. So you have a final opportunity once all the representations and questioning process has been gone through to actually have a very final last say. What I would stress is that's not an opportunity to be bringing up new matters that haven't been brought up during the course of the hearing. It is literally summarising those issues that you think are most important for the subcommittee to be taking into consideration, and those things that have already been discussed. If something new is brought up at that stage, it then generally opens up a whole round of questioning and can bog down the whole process. So that's why I say that. Generally speaking, there isn't any cross-examination as such. It's just a discussion is the way that the guidance likes to describe the process, which is led by the chair. So there ought not to be sort of heavy-handed questioning of the other parties. It's really just a discussion about the facts. And I would stress to the residents that are making representations, you are strictly limited, unfortunately, by the regulations. There are very strict regulations that govern the whole process to those issues that you've raised in your written representations. So you can't start to raise new issues today, unfortunately. You can only expand upon those things that you've already mentioned in your written representations. If you do try to start bringing up new evidence, I will have to interject and stop you from presenting that evidence. And that's a matter of natural justice, which basically dictates that all the parties to the hearing ought to be able to see and understand what's going to be discussed, what points are going to be raised, so that they can prepare for the hearing and not be ambushed, if you like, throughout the course of the hearing with sudden new evidence or facts. So, Chair, I think that I've gone slightly more into detail than I ordinarily would do as to the process, because I understand that parties aren't represented today by legally qualified representatives, certainly. So I've taken the time to, I hope you don't mind, to go a little more detail.
No, that's very, very helpful, Ben, and thank you for going through, especially for members of the public who are making representations. I know this is ordinarily not something that you would normally do, so obviously going through the process will help you obviously understand what we're doing here today. Okay, thank you. I'm just going to move on to item 3, which is primarily the reason why we're here, which is the application for a variation of a premises licence for Caracoa Emporium Limited, 88 Clarendon Road. I'm going to open with the licensing officer to outline the application for us today.
Thank you and good afternoon, members. So this first hearing this afternoon is to deal with the premises licence variation for a premises that I will refer to as Carioca, 88 Clarendon Road, Southsea. The applicant and owner of the premises is Monica, who is here today, and Monica, as you've heard, will be assisted by her friend Marcia. The variation to the existing premises licence is firstly to deal with the relocation of the bar as per the submitted plan, which is at Appendix B in your bundle. Members, if it assists, the bar has actually moved already. In effect, it's been moved from the middle of the premises up towards the front door and window. And personally, I don't have any objection to the fact that that has moved, but it has to be submitted correctly as it has now by this variation. And it's a matter for you to decide whether or not that is permitted or not. The variation is also seeking to add regulated entertainment, and by that I mean live and recorded music, until 3 AM Monday to Saturday and until 11 PM on a Sunday. And it's also seeking to extend the sale of alcohol and late night refreshment for the same times on the same days. The premises opening hours will also match these times, closing at 3 AM Monday to Saturday and 11 PM on a Sunday. You will see from the current premises licence at Appendix C that alcohol sales and late night refreshment are currently authorised until 2 o'clock Monday to Saturday and to 11 o'clock on a Sunday. with the premises closing time in line with these permitted hours. So if the variation didn't go ahead today, if you chose not to permit it, obviously the existing premises licence conditions and times will still stand. The provisions relating to the variation of a premises licence are contained within Part 3 of the Licensing Act of 2003 and associated statutory regulations. So therefore public notice was given by way of a press notice, a premises notice, and local ward councillors have been notified of the application. So there are no germane grounds for the committee to reject the application for non-compliance with the prescribed advertising requirements. Members, I will comment is to say that the premises have been operating without the regulated entertainment permission, and it was as a result of this coming to our attention and me visiting the premises and pointing this out to Monica that this application to vary the licence has been submitted. So that's where we are today. The premises are located at the Strand roundabout, if you're not sure of the location. It is in a residential part of Southsea. The building itself is the old betting shop. It's a flat-roofed premises with a single glazed front, and you'll hear more from that shortly from Lorraine Astle. So on receipt of the variation application, all responsible authorities, as you know, are notified, and you will see a representation from Lorraine, who is in the Public Protection Environmental Health team, objecting to the regulated entertainment part of the variation. This objection is based on the premises being unsuitable for live and recorded music late at night and evidenced noise complaints. Lorraine will give you more information regarding these shortly, and the licensing authority also received 21 other objections from local residents objecting to the application. Their main concern is the potential for noise late at night and into the early hours of the morning. And you'll see all those representations in your bundle attached at Appendix D. I have submitted to you, and I know you will have seen them, 20 support representations that have come in. In my opinion, they don't actually deal with the issue of the late night noise and the music late at night. They're more concerned about obviously the premises and how they operate and how good they are for the community. But of course, whatever happens today, that licence will still exist. So there's, you know, their concerns can be allayed somewhat and not be too concerned about the premises actually having to close. Members, in my report at paragraph 912, I highlight the point that each responsible authority is considered an expert in the respective field, and you will know how much weight you should attach to their representations. When determining the variation application, the committee must have regard to the promotion of the licensing objectives, which, as you know, are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. You must also take into account the Licensing Act 2003, your adopted statement of licensing policy, judgments of the High Court, and your legal advisor can give you guidance on that should that become necessary, the current statutory guidance issued by the Home Secretary in accordance with Section 182 of the Act, the representations including supporting information presented by all parties, and the human rights of all parties concerned to ensure both a fair and balanced hearing and to consider any public sector equality duty. The Statement of Licensing Policy lays down a general approach to the determination of licensing applications, and any such application will be considered on its individual merits. Equally, any person permitted by the Act to make relevant representations to the committee will have those representations considered on their individual merit. After having regard to the representations, the committee may take such steps, if any, as it considers appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives, which are to modify the condition of the licence or to reject the whole or part of the application. And for this purpose, the conditions of the licence are modified if any of them is altered or omitted or any new condition is added. Members, I don't think I need to say any more at this stage, but obviously I will be here throughout the proceedings to assist you should that be necessary. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Derek. That was very helpful. And members, do we have any questions? Questions, Councillor Gerard? Just a quick one, Derek. I see you mentioned about going to the premises yourself in relation to the movement of the bar. Can you just clarify, I've written it down, that you had no issue with the bar being moved?
It's a small premises, and the bar was originally in the middle of the premises. It's been moved to the front because it works better for the premises itself. It should have been an application and done before it was actually moved. But to be fair, it doesn't alter greatly the premises, other than it needs to be reflected on the plan, to be honest with you.
Okay. Just Ben, did you want to just?
I didn't mean to interrupt your flow. Apologies, Chair. The only question that I had in relation to that, and I have some other questions once everybody else has finished. I don't think, from my reading of the papers, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there has actually formally been any representation or objection in the written representations to the movement of the bar at all, has there?
That's correct.
So I would say, Chair, that it's really not even an issue for the subcommittee to determine. There's no objection actually being raised to it, and therefore it ought to be considered to be effectively granted in its own right. So the movement of the bar ought not really be something that you dwell on too much.
That's great, because I was just going to get clarity about, obviously we've got the issue of the variation, and obviously the movement of the bar is in there, so we can obviously separate the two quite quickly. No, I don't really have much more to add other than how has the engagement been with the licensing team in terms of officers going into the premises?
Off the top of my head, I think there's been a few visits, but no issues other than there's been noise complaints where we've had to either respond or environmental health have.
No, thank you for that. I don't have any more questions. I'm going to hand over to the applicant. Do you have any questions of the licensing officer?
Yes, please.
About the bar, yes, is because I have 3 visits during the year for the noise. And then one of the visits in the summertime, the lady who visited me suggests if the bar was in the front and the music in the back, then don't want to be too loud on the road. And about that, I moved the bar by the window. And
Is this a question for the licensing officer? Because
this is what you're talking about.
But is it a question for him? Because it's your opportunity to ask a question of the officer.
I think Monica's explaining why the bar got moved, basically, for you, if that helps.
Yeah.
So was it just so I can have clarity, was it one of the officers from the licensing team suggested moving the bar, or was it a member from environmental health suggested moving the bar?
Foi deles que pediu para
Was
Lorraine.
Is there environmental health? Okay, that's fine. Do you have any more questions?
No.
You sure?
No.
I'm sorry. I think it's quite important for Monica to make a small introduction where...
We will get to that in a moment, because you have your opportunity as the applicant.
Absolutely fine. That's fine.
Yeah, the way we do it is obviously you have the licensing manager, you'll have yourselves, then you'll have environmental health, then we'll have representation. So everyone gets their fair opportunity, and you will get yours shortly. Don't worry. I will not leave you out.
That's fine. It's just because I think it would be better for people to understand, and then we get to the point. But if it's that how you want this,
we'll do it in the procedure that's given, because
Absolutely.
that's the procedure
No
that we
problem.
have to follow.
No problem.
Okay. Any more questions?
No.
Thank you. Okay. Lorraine, do you have any questions for the licensing officer? Thank you. I'm going to pass over to the people making representations. Do you have any questions for the licensing officer? We've got lots of shakes of heads. Okay, thank you. I'm going to move on to the applicant. Oh, do you have some questions?
Just a couple of...
Sorry, I always forget about you.
Easily forgettable. Just a couple of very, hopefully, easy questions. The timings for this particular application are a little bit convoluted in the way that it's all operating. And I just thought it might be helpful, I think, for everybody to better understand precisely how this is working, because we've got the Live Music Act, which has an implication, as well as the timings generally. And I noticed from a lot of the written representations from residents, I think they may have been under the misapprehension that the premises are due to certainly perhaps cease sale of alcohol at 11 o'clock, when that's not correct. Certainly, currently, the premises has a premises licence that entitles them to sell alcohol until 2 a.m. in the morning.
That's correct, yes.
And they can because they have a licence that entitles them to sell alcohol, they're entitled under the Live Music Act then to have, even though it doesn't appear on their current licence, they can have live music and recorded music until 11 o'clock at night.
Correct.
I think that's probably just worth explaining because, and that's not all 7 days of the week, there's a slight difference for Sunday when it's 11 o'clock for the sale of alcohol.
Sale of alcohol stops at 11 on a Sunday, yes.
And the premises closes at that same time.
Correct, yes.
So basically, currently, the position is they can, for the most of the week, they can serve alcohol until 2 a.m. and they can have regulated entertainment, live music and recorded music until 11 by operation of the Live Music Act rather than what their licence entitles them to do.
Yes, they can. That's correct.
And what they're seeking is a variation which will enable them to basically have until 3 a.m. in the morning for the sale of alcohol. So an extra hour for the sale of alcohol and then an extra 4 hours for regulated entertainment, effectively.
That's correct.
And also, I think you did mention it, just to stress it as well, again, that the application is for a variation, for an extension of those hours, and that is all that the subcommittee is to be considering today. So it's not a general review of the licence per se. We're not considering whether or not they can do what they currently are doing. It's merely just a question of whether or not they can have the extra hours that they're applying for.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully that's just clarified precisely for everybody what's happening today.
That's really helpful. Thank you, Ben. I'm going to hand over to yourself to obviously state your case.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That is very important. What Monica would like to do today, she would like to make a small introduction when she starts thinking of arranging karaoke.
Can I
Yes,
try to talk?
Okay.
I'm sorry, my English is not so good as my friend. I bring her to help me, but I'm going to try to do my best on her, okay?
If you just take your time.
Okay. No, I'm nervous because I've never been in a court before. You know, then let me see, where can I start? Okay. I live in England only 9 years, yeah. And when I came to South Sea the first time, 3 years ago, I fell in love because I feel South Sea like my home, like Rio. And I tell everybody, go to my bar, this is the Rio de Janeiro from England, is South Sea. This is the way I feel. And then 1 year after I moved to South Sea, and actually I didn't live in South Sea that time being. I live in Fareham because in my head everything was Portsmouth, you know. And then I moved there, and I started to look for a place to open a Brazilian place for our community to be integrated to the English community, you know. Because now, if my kids and me, we decide to be here, this is our country now, you know, and then we have to do something for my community also. And then I saw that place empty and a beautiful mural in the front, Mark painted, the wall in the roundabout, and that place was very dead, you know, and only 3 minutes from the beach, and I said, wow, this is the place I'm looking for. And then I tried for a few months to get in there. And I give life for the roundabout, as a lot of people say, you know. And before, when I go there, we can see people, drug people, sit down there, smoking. Inside, they have a place for telephone case before. And if you open there, was people smoking, you know, weed and beer, using the wall as a toilet, you know. And now this is disappeared. And some people come to karaoke, not Brazilian people, but English ladies. They say, Monica, after you're here, we are safe, because when you come home middle of the night, you know, it's not dark anymore. When I come to karaoke, or when I opened karaoke 1 year ago, they have twice. As soon as I open, the police come to my place because they have assault the other in front of my place during the night, and the other side the road. After that, we don't have any more, because we are there, and the people start to respect us, and they love our place, because we are a family place. We have kids, we have our community, and the English community is there always with us. And when I ask for the permit, because we do parties, like celebrate our days and the English days. Like we did in the summertime when the Jubilee for the Queen, we did a big party, and we did the Halloween party. We don't celebrate Halloween in Brazil, but we did for here. And I asked for permit for 4th of February because it's going to be Carioca 1-year birthday. And sometimes we ask for the DJ come, is an English DJ, for the English community to come, And this is not every day, Honor. It's like my bar closing during the week, normally 8 o'clock, because I'm myself, And then I can't run a bar 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. the other day. I ask for the permit because when I have to use, the permit is there. This doesn't mean I'm using every day, and now I live in South Sea also, and South Sea is a tourist place, and then we have life in summertime, and this is what we try to bring with Carioca, try to bring life and the quality life to the roundabout. But I know we make noise with the music, but we trying. This year was a school for me, We try to do everything. We have 3 visits from the council, and everything they suggest to me, I'm trying to do it. Like put the bar in the front. I cut all the speakers. I have only 2 speakers now, Before I used 6 speakers. Now I have 2 speakers. And I hired somebody to understand about music and about quality of the music. And he come and for put better speakers, and when you have DJ, the DJ bring their speakers because it's better than the quality for the music being inside the place, not outside the way it was, because it is, like I said, it's a school for me. I'm learning also, and I have a support for a lot of people, to help, who like us, and like you have. Also the support from the Batala. It's a group in Portsmouth. They are 80, 90 English people who play drums all over the South Sea. And they love us so much, and they went there twice this year when Brazil win the games. And they were to play for 20 minutes because they doesn't play for more than 20 minutes because the noise, And they play was 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And even 6:30, it was 6, and the other one was 5:30, something like that, not before the game. And then Brazil lost, yeah. They didn't come anymore, but I hope they come other times, But they go all over the South Sea, because when they go, I'm normally there for sea, Them, the people from the roundabout come and see also, not only my bar. Because in my bar, sometimes I have 5, 10 people in my bar. And when I have a party, I didn't have more than 40 people or 45 people, And if you see the cameras or everything, I never have a fight in my bar in 1 year. And actually, we help. When the moonshine have a fight, we go there. I go myself, because I'm an old lady. I go there for the kids and say, hey, guys, try to help the doormen for see what happened, because they have fights. Every time they open moonshine, they have a fight, And then I'm trying to do that because when I took my license, they say for me, I have to take care of my bar and around my bar. And when they have in the roundabout any kind of fights, I go there to help. I try to clean the car park because people make a lot of mess there, and then it's not the Brazilian people, they do also because we are normal, and everybody do messy, but put clothes and things, and I try to keep clean because for the image of my bar, and before it was worse than that, I'm trying to help, and I'm sorry if I disturb you guys, but it's like it's life. You know, we live in a beautiful community with people with all over the world, because to the bar come people from Angola, from Korea, England, all over the England, you know, because Portsmouth is beautiful, you know, South Sea is fantastic. And then they say, wow, you are only 3 minutes from the beach, this is fantastic, you know, because you bring another culture to us. And England, you know, is very open to people bring another culture. And then I'm sorry if my goal was only to bring happiness for people, and I disturb some. But this is life, and we can't be make everybody happy in the same time. But I'm trying to do whatever you guys ask me to do. I'm very open to do whatever I need to do for help the community don't be, you know, upset. But I need my times, because it's the only way I make money is when I do the parties, you know, and for me to make money for me to pay the bills, and because I'm a small business, you know. And when she went to my place and told me little things, you know, what I have to do for get better, you know, this is what I did. Nobody visited me there after, because when I put the bar in the front and the speakers on the back, you know, take it off the speakers. And if I have something else to do it for get better, I certainly will do it, you know. But I only be clear, I'm not a club, okay? I don't have club speakers. I don't have, like, when we do lights, we have 2 lights, only for make it like that, you know, and we have 2 speakers like that. Then, please, when you consider something, I'm not a club, and I don't have a club music system or light system. It's different, okay? And sorry about my English.
Yeah, in addition to what Mrs. Souza said, what is important to try to bring up to you guys is the background when she started looking for a place. I was there, so reason why I can comment. So I went to see the place with her. It was absolute rubbish, dump everywhere. It was disgusting. And I said to her, so are you sure that you're going to take this on board? I said, this is going to be a big challenge. And she said, yes. So all the cables and everything was really difficult for her to get to the level where she is at the moment. So I believe as any small business, there are difficulties in the beginning. So there are challenges. And that's what she's been through. So the first stage was getting the place ready. She did. The second stage was, what can I sell as a food, drinks? The third stage, how can I bring people in? How can I make this happen? And she started gradually. The way that she thought that was correct, the way that she was speaking to people and giving them her ideas. And then finally, she got to the level where karaoke is. I believe there were 2 complaints directly in the beginning done to Monica. And those complaints she addressed herself. She didn't need to come to the court to address those complaints. She started getting suggestions from the local residents, which was very important for her to have an idea how she can do things better. And I think what we Brazilians are good at is to make things better, not worse. And what I told Monica is, you need to listen to what the local authority is asking for you to do. You need to pay attention how the other business are doing their own business. You need to have an eye to the details, how you can challenge this, but in a very positive way. So I believe Mr. Stone, he sent Monica a few emails with a few suggestions. And one of his suggestions that I could read on the email was for Mrs. Astil, Lorraine, to come to her place to have a look after all the complaints, how she could do things in a different way to avoid the noise or to make it better. This email was sent on 8th of January at 11:41. So I helped Monica to write the email and ask for her to come and visit and give a suggestion, but we didn't have that visit. So far, the only change that she could make was to move in the bar, as it has been said. She only got 2 speakers, and she's also prepared to listen to other suggestions in how she could reduce the noise. So I believe if the local authorities or even you, the chambers, can give better suggestions, she certainly will be happy to try to fit things in. But I think what was the most sad thing was that a particular resident went door by door to speak to the other residents and how they could make a complaint against her business. So I think if that particular resident had a little bit of common sense, instead of wasting his or her time to go door by door and come and talk to Monica directly and say, look, I don't like this because I live here, so that is causing problem. But no, this person went door by door, which clearly shows that there was no good intention at all. If you read, I'm not going deep into the details on the bundle, but I'm sure that you guys have read. Some of the letters are very discriminative, because some of the letters say, oh, the Brazilian bar. So why the Brazilian bar? It's not necessarily the Brazilian bar. It's a place, it's a bar where different communities are attending. Not only Brazilians, we've got English people, we've got I was there last Saturday, it was amazing. So why that person didn't come one night and come enjoy and have a drink and talk to the owner, look, I live here, and how this is not correct, because no, but that person went door by door. So that is the problem. That's why we are here. So that's why we would like that you guys have a little bit of more emphasis in trying to assist her business to be better. Because at the end of the day, she's bringing revenue to the local authority. A place that was empty becomes a really nice place is a revenue. So people smoke. Yes, people do smoke. People do talk loud. Yes, people do talk loud. But what about the other club that they do exactly the same? 400 people, yeah, people. And the thing is, if that particular resident made a complaint and was able to visit 21 properties and she got 21 complaints, has that resident had the same action when that place was a dump place, made a complaint to the council, to the local authority? That resident came here to make this complaint because the place was rubbish? No, I doubt. So that's what I would like to add.
Thank you. I'm just going to make reference to the comments about the 21 representations made. This would have come here without the representations anyway, because we've had a representation from environmental health, so that would have happened anyway, regardless of the complaints that have come forward from people that are making representations. So just be aware of that. People have the right to make those representations, regardless whether you're happy with them or not, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the only issue here that I would like to say is how it has taken place. Do you understand? That's the thing.
I mean, we're not here to adjudicate how people do that, and that is down to residents how they want to organise. I mean, I'm not one to comment on how people choose to organise, and quite frankly, to me, it's open democracy, so they're allowed to do that in any manner they feel.
Mentality. That's what I can say.
Okay, no, that's fine. Members, do we have any questions at all? Councillor Gerardo.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I had some questions. Thank you for that overview. It's really, really helpful. Thank you. I just wondered, Mrs. Suzette, what engagement you've had with the residents. Obviously, there's been mention of the residents who went door to door and had kind of spoken to one another. But I just wondered if you had actually taken any actions yourself to go and talk to the residents and maybe go and knock on their doors and talk to them about the issues.
No, was some residents who come to my bar, and then they said, Monica, somebody visited me today, and I actually was 3 or 4 people go there, and they asked me to go against your license. And they they was teaching us how to do that on the internet. And then I said, no, I don't want to do that, you know. And then I come here to be aware people are doing things behind your back. They took a picture of your license here on your window, and they are showing us they come to my house, and they did that, you know. This is the way I know.
Thank you. Okay. Obviously, there's been, from the complaints that have been submitted, quite a lot of mention of the impact of the door opening and closing and how that has an impact on sound. So even if you try your best to keep the noise to a minimum side or to reduce the sound of the music, that's obviously a big issue because the door keeps opening and closing. So I just wondered if you had explored any sort of ways to better soundproof the actual premises, and if there are ways that you can try and obviously minimise the amount of noise that's being that leaves every time the door opens and closes.
I was talking with Mr. Derek, you know, before, like I said, I never have a business here in England, and I don't know, I'm learning a lot, yeah? And then he suggested me to put another door, because when somebody open one door, you know, then close and open direct to the other door. And then I said, yes, this is a good idea. Let's see what's going to happen in court, and then we can put the door to help, you know. And this is, and the another thing I'm doing is like because I have a backyard, it is very small, and I have people behind my place just across the fence, you know. And then I'm trying to don't let people smoke there. You know, like I close the door and say, no, I don't want noise there because it's very close to the people, because my body here have a fence in the backyard for somebody's house and then an apartment, you know. And then I ask them for don't smoke there anymore, and then we smoke in the front of the place. And then I'm applying for, because beside the car park, you know, has like a space, I measure and almost like put some tables there beside the car park, because then I don't want to be in the street and I don't want to be in nobody garden. But I can make a smoky place, you know, beside the car park. This is another application I put it to the council. This is another way I find to take like people from the backyard and the street, and make a place for like a smoke area there, you know, and then I can help to take care of the car park, clean the car park, because always is dirty, always is a lot of paper and a lot of things, you know, garbage. Last week I paid like extra collection for my garbage, because I was collecting garbage for the car park, you know. And still a lot of things there, because people change tires and put it there, change oil and put it there, you know. And then I was cleaning that, because it's my city, you know. And whatever I can do, I can't do a lot because I'm starting. And when I was doing good, I stopped my music, you know, for me to wait for today. Yes. Then December and January was a very, very bad month for me. I did my birthday party, but I asked for permission. I don't just did my birthday party. I asked for permission. And in the Christmas, I asked for permission also for me to do it. Because, but the other weekends I don't did, you know. And I'm going to be very honest, I don't have money to pay the rent today because I don't did the parties, you know. And then I really need to do the parties, and I'm here very open to help with anything for do the best, you know, for don't bother too much people. But we live in a city with, and just across me is not 50 people, it's 400, 300 people making noise, you know. And outside also, they smoke, they use drugs, they fight, the police come, you know. And is a roundabout. Everything happened there, you know. And I know a few years ago, people was pub there, and the people missing that. Some people come and say, wow, you bring life to the roundabout again, you know. And then I'm here, try again, okay? And whatever you guys think is better for me to do it, I will open.
Thank you. Thanks. Just had one more question. Sorry, Chair. There's been sort of mention of sometimes if there's too many people gathering outside that it's blocking the public highway. And in particular, that's a concern not just because of the pavement and access to the pavement and safely crossing the street, but there's a dropped curb, which is obviously meant to be for sort of disability access and for people with pushchairs and that sort of thing. So I just wondered what steps that you've taken to try and encourage your customers to sort of keep within the confines of, you know, the space that you're meant to have and to not spill too much out onto the pavement and the street.
I didn't understand your question.
I'm just going to explain to her.
Okay, sorry about that, because when you say split, you have, for me translate, I didn't understand the word. It's because in the summertime, we used to have tables outside, you know, and then I took the tables from outside, and because I have big tables, and they don't use, and then I put a big table, and now I apply for only to put a small table outside, but not to block the
passageway.
Qual que é o nome daquele negócio assim?
Pavement?
No, not the pavement, where the wheelchair, the cup, you know. Yeah. And normally when I have a party, if I have a doorman, I don't work in the bar, I work with him. You know, when I have more people in the bar, I work with them and I stay outside for take care of the people, for don't be there, you know, because it's not many people, as I told you, sometimes, you know, and then we always, normally late at night, yeah, people doesn't come with a wheelchair or things like that, but I'm always with them, try to orientate them to smoke and go inside, you know, or don't stay too long outside, you know, things like that.
Can I just make a comment on that? I believe by the law, you can't smoke inside, anywhere. So people have to smoke outside. So I don't think so it's down to her decision where people are going to smoke, as long as it's not inside. And normally when people come to a bar or to a club or wherever they come, it's very unlikely that that person will be one person. It will be normally 2, 3, normally a group. Whether they're going to congregate to smoke or to have a chat is not down to Carioca where they're going to stay, as long as they are not disturbing or blocking or shouting, and that's not what's happening. So if you see right opposite Carioca, you've got that massive club. It's very likely that the owner of that club is going to go outside and keep pushing people away where people shouldn't be or should not be, because this is very unlikely.
And they have the club out, you
know? The only thing that she can is advise her customers, don't do this, don't do that, because the law states this. But at the end of the day, they are all adults. You haven't got teenagers in there after a certain period of time. So she cannot be blamed for adults. They are using her facilities, and she can only do her best to address the situation, but not be blamed for it. Otherwise, all the clubs in the pub in the UK should be blamed if people are congregating. So I don't think so that is a viable comment, because she can only advise.
I don't particularly subscribe to that viewpoint, because one of the 4 licensing objectives is the prevention of public nuisance, which is engaged when people are congregating outside, and that has been one of the representations that has been brought to us from environmental health. So I don't think what you're saying is particularly correct in that viewpoint. Would you say I'm correct in that point, Ben, in saying that the prevention of public nuisance has been engaged there, as per the report?
Yes, I think the issues with patrons that are actually using the premises directly outside or nearby the premises smoking, when that directly relates to a licensable activity, so there is a clear nexus between that activity, the smoking, and the consumption of alcohol, let's just say, at the premises, then the licensing objective is engaged. At the same time, the statutory guidance does also state that when patrons leave the premises in a more permanent fashion, I suppose, and migrate away from the premises, then the premises shouldn't be held accountable for the general actions of individuals. So it cuts both ways.
I think the instance that Councillor Gerardo was referring to is the one where there was clear congregation out the front, where they were obviously still using the premises, and that's obviously where with the prevention of public nuisance comes in. So
yeah, I think whilst the patrons are still using the premises, and there is a nexus between their behaviour and the licensable activity, once it can be discerned from once they've left the premises and they've left the immediate vicinity and they are making their way home and then decide to engage in antisocial behaviour is a different matter. There is case law that that allows you to take into consideration, even in that instance, certain behaviours. Luminar leisure is the case in question, which for example, if you have large numbers of people that migrate from one premises to another when one closes, for example, and whilst doing so cause a trail of destruction, then you can certainly take that into consideration as well. So it's not clear cut, but it's a fine line to tread.
Thank you. Do you have any more questions, Councillor Gerardo? Councillor Holder.
Your current licence allows you to sell alcohol Monday to Saturday 11 till 2. How often do you actually open till 2? And what do you plan? Any changes if you are currently allowed to open till 3?
It's because normally, Tuesday and Wednesdays, I open to 8 o'clock. And Thursdays, I open to 12 o'clock, 12:30. Then I have an open mic for the English community on Thursdays. And sometimes, not every time, on Thursday they say, Monica, can we still play? And I say, no, it's 11 o'clock, you have to stop, And this is a very good day for me because they stay there, they talk, and then when they sing, it's open mic. One come, another one, and I can stay long, but I'm going to be honest, probably it's very, very hard the time I'm going to be open to 3 o'clock on Thursdays, This is more when I have a party, March 4th. I want to do a party for an English community, this one, and we put it to 3 o'clock, And also Carnival. We celebrate Carnival in Brazil in February, and because midnight, people still there, and they have to put it 11 o'clock music down, but sometimes midnight, 1 o'clock, and I put it 3 o'clock because a lot of clubs finish 2 o'clock, and it's a way to me to try to capture some money from the people walking through to the beach and come inside and drink something, or, and because I have a music, and then they come and I can have some custom, for me to get there. And we're going to have also in July another one, in September. But every day, I can't be open every day to 3 o'clock. As I told you, if I have the license, the day I want to open to 3 o'clock, I have in my mind I can do it. If I want to do like my open mics to 12:30, 1 o'clock, sometimes the open mic finish 9 o'clock because only 2 or 3 people show up, But the day sometimes show 8 people, 9 people to play, and they want to play more than 11 o'clock. Oh, I'm sorry, And when we put the music out, everybody leave. Because we are not many. I'm 7 tables, and then it's only 7 tables, then it's not many people. And Friday, I do live music on Fridays. And I put Brazilian music on Fridays. And then I'm starting 7 o'clock because it's winter time. But in the summertime, 7 o'clock, we're still on the beach. And then, actually, 2 o'clock this summer, we are outside. And if I have somebody to play, but the latest I went was 1:30, 2 o'clock also. But I apply because I want to have the time for be legal, for don't be, hey, let's go, it's 3 o'clock, I have to close. You understand what I mean?
Thank you. Just a couple of questions from me. You've had some visits, 3 noise complaints which were obviously visited by the Environmental Health Service. Can you just talk me through the first one about keeping the door closed? What happened there?
Was the first time, was in the summertime, because we used to have all the time the door open, and the music was in the front of the bar, and I was trying to attract people, and I put the speakers outside. I don't knew I couldn't. Then I put it back after the council come.
So you put the speakers outside?
Yes, I put one speaker outside. Not outside. It was in my door, just in my door, Then was like it. But now was the first time. And after that, I have the second visit. It was her when she asked me she suggested if it was a good idea if I put the music on the back. And then this is what I did. And the third time was the Halloween party, and we was with the door open, and then when the was open and close, open and close, and open and close. And when we have the complaint when the council come again.
Okay, thank you. On the third time, that was the 31st of July. I'm just going to go from what is in the report in Appendix D. It says music was escaping from the bar when customers entered and left the building, just as you stated. The music from the premises was still ongoing at 23:20, so that was 20 minutes after the effectively permitted licensable hours. So the music was going on past your license. Is that a regular occurrence?
Regular occurrence.
Does that happen regularly?
No.
I'm just going to go on to a further complaint that was contacted on the 12th of August, where they visited the area at 23:30 hours, and the music was audible in somebody's living room and bedroom with the windows open. So that tells me, from the evidence presented, that there is music going on after your permitted hours. On 2 occasions within 2 months of an officer visiting.
Yeah, but when the officer visited me for the first time, he told me for be with the door closed. Yes, and they open the door only when people come in or come out. And this is what we was doing, keeping the door as I told you in the beginning.
Okay.
And now I stay there in the door for make sure the door open and close, not only the bar.
No, that's fine. I understand that. But I'm just referring to an incident in July, an incident in August, and now I'm going to refer to the incident on the 28th of October, so this is another month down the line. This was an instance where I think Councillor Gerard has already referred to it, about music breaking out of the premises around 11 o'clock in the evening and people blocking the highway. Again, that is near the time of your licensable hours, and I have concerns already that the music is going on longer just from the 3 instances that have been occurring. What have you done to try and deal with that, to ensure that music isn't going past the permitted licensable hours?
After Mr. Derek visited me, no, it wasn't Mr. Derek, it was another gentleman. Yes, no, it was another one. It was two guys. Whether I cancel my parties.
Say that again for me, it's a bit clearer.
Then, after that, is why I cancel my parties. I only get permit, and then I ask only for permits for me to go on 24th of December. I think it was 15th of December. And when I ask permits to do it, the parties.
No, there's 2 temporary event notices that have been had representations against for late 10s, and one was on the 19th of November, which was 11 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the morning, and I think another one was the 10th of December, which both the police and regulatory services both made representations against. I believe that's in Appendix D on page 41. Can you just confirm
10th
that?
of December?
Yeah, this is what's in the report pack. Is that something that can be confirmed by one of the licensing manager or the...
Because 2 was cancelled, yes, because they...
We're just going to get it confirmed, make sure that that is correct. It's on page 41 of the pack. 4th paragraph.
I think this probably Lorraine can answer this one better than I can, if that helps.
Just want some clarity, is that?
Sorry, I believe the 10th of December one referred to the World Cup and Brazil playing, and I think these was concerned about public safety for that one. Sorry, Lorraine, I don't think it's been caught on the microphone in the live stream. Could you, it's a big microphone, could you speak really closely?
Oh, sorry. Do you want me to repeat that? Okay. Did you want me to repeat what I've just said? Okay. So I believe the 10th of December was the World Cup for the Brazilian game, and I think the police made representations for that, and we also did, because there was entertainment planned afterwards. And the 19th of November, I believe it was I don't even know how to pronounce it, yeah, that one. Sorry, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, was planned. Oh no, sorry, they've on their Facebook page, that was the 10th of December. So the other one may have been the World Cup. I know one was the World Cup.
Okay, now I remember. One was the World Cup. Yes, one was the World Cup, and the game was 6 o'clock. And then after the game, we stayed there, but when he come, it was about to 11, but it wasn't 11. And then when Brazil, this was when the Brazil lost the game, and I remember the authority said, if you lost the game, you are sad, and why you have music? Because they said we are Brazilian, you know, and they still make money. And then we are, but 11, it wasn't 11 o'clock yet. Then we finished like and he said put the music down after 11 o'clock, you know. And the other one was the one the DJ advertised in the Facebook of the party for 10th of December, and but this party didn't happen only to 11 o'clock, because we didn't have the permit to go on after that with loud music.
No, that's fine. I just want to go back to the 28th of October. I think
this was the Halloween.
Halloween party, yes.
Yes.
I'm glad you remember.
Yeah.
The Halloween party, the officer identified there was music obviously coming from the bar, but there was also music coming from next door, and the officer clearly, it says it in the report here, saw the premises licence holder enter their premises next door and carry on an extended party. But the premises next door is an unlicensed premises. Do you think that was the correct thing to do?
I can be very honest. I don't know, because I asked him them if can I rent the place if I have too many people for people stay inside, and then I asked them if I can put my people there, you know, and them when they want to go outside, and then we put it there, but it was but they are finished before 11 because it doesn't have enough people to be there, you know, and then we close before the time.
But on the incident on the 28th of October, you took guests from your bar into the cafe next door,
Yes.
which is an unlicensed premises.
I don't know. I asked him if I can put people there.
That's not the problem. The problem I have with this question is you are the license holder and it's quite clear you operate and have a personal license, don't you?
Yeah. Yes.
So I would put it within your remit that you would know not to go into a premises that isn't particularly yours in the first place. And if it was me as a responsible license holder, I would ensure that the premises that I'm going into has the appropriate license.
But you didn't sell anything there.
It's not the point that they're guests from your establishment, which is where the issue comes in that has been raised. Ben, do you want to just give the clarity on the law for this? Because I think it's quite simple, but you can give it in a much simpler way than I can.
Well, technically, it may well be that what the applicant is saying is correct here, because unless there was the provision of regulated entertainment or at past 11 o'clock at night, because regulated entertainment now can take place in any premises, whether or not there's a premises licence, as long as it's unamplified live music. I think that's right, isn't it? If it's amplified, then that's slightly different. I'm getting muddled myself. It's really very awkward the way the legislation works, but certainly if there's no sale of alcohol taking place on the adjoining premises, then technically speaking there's no licensable activity taking place, and if there's no music, live or recorded music being provided on those adjoining premises, then similarly the same.
Yeah, well, the report does state there was music coming from that premises.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
In that case, that in itself would constitute a breach if it's after 11 o'clock, certainly.
Thank you for that. Just for that clarity. I don't have any more questions for yourselves. I'm going to hand over to the licensing manager. Do you have any questions?
No, other than to say it was following the incident on the 28th of October, I went and visited the premises, and I think, to be honest, Monica wasn't really sure whether she should or shouldn't be having music after 11 o'clock. She took our advice on board, went down the route of applying for the variation, and I think, in fairness, she stopped doing any entertainment after that, and did it by way of 10 applications.
No, thank you. That's good clarity. Thank you. Lorraine, do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you. Can I just, obviously, it's not really, it's sort of a question, but it's not. I can confirm I didn't receive your email on the 4th of January. I received one from Mr. Stone to say that he had visited you and spoken to you, and I never received that email. I was waiting for it. My other question is relating to the 3 visits that officers was made on the 22nd of July, the 12th of August and the 28th of October, as obviously why you didn't contact us to seek advice from those visits. So the onus is on you to contact the council as a licensee to the onus is on you as a premise licence holder to contact the council, because we had made contact on the evening with you to discuss the noise. But at those points, we gave you advice, but then you never came back until you say you emailed us in relation to the variation notice on the 4th of January this year. So my question is why have you not made contact previously when we've been in touch? You would have had letters.
Because you, when you gave me the advisors, you know, I did the advisors, and I don't think I have to report the advisor, you know. When the gentleman come and told me what to do, you know, I just stopped it, but it didn't. It was my fault. I don't know how to do that. I messaged saying, "Oh, I don't want to do parties more," you know. Till I have the answer, you know. I just don't did you told me to take the bar and blah blah blah, and I did, but I don't knew I have to give the feedback, you know, because I know I have to be more aware about the laws, because this is my country now, but it's too many little things like this one, you know. I wasn't certain I had to do it, and I'm sorry for that. And as I told you before, I'm going to try to get this today, you know, and do more things better, you know, and take all the advice I can take it for make Carioca better, because I don't want to give up Carioca, you know. And then, because I didn't message you, but I did whatever you guys asked me to do, you know, okay? I didn't blanket you, it's because in my mind, if I did, I don't need to give you back answer, okay? Sorry about that.
Thank you. The other question I'd like to ask is, you made a comment, or if you can clarify, that when you have DJs, that they bring their own speakers. Is that the case, or do they use your speakers?
Like DJ Mark, the quality of his speakers is better than mine. I'm not telling about for be loud, okay? About the quality to keep the song inside is better than my speakers. And the DJ Alex, he bring only one speaker, because I'm very small, you know. I'm smaller than this rectangle here, and then one speaker is enough, you know. And then they bring the speakers because of that, you know, for the quality of the song.
Okay, referring back to the speakers and the DJs bringing their own equipment in to your property, how do you take control of the noise levels?
Me?
Yes.
Yes. I'm always, you know, the one was only to 11 o'clock because I didn't get the permit to 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Then I always was taking care don't be so loud, you know, and because they know they can be so loud anymore, because I'm not a club. I'm only a small place, you know, and they can bring less speakers. They doesn't need to bring, and also I told them don't bring more than 2 speakers, because they don't want to play with more than 2 speakers in my place. Because if I told you I'm going to use 2 speakers, whatever you guys go there, I don't want to have more than 2 speakers, you know. And then I told them for bring not more than 2 speakers. And then DJ Alex bring 1 and DJ Mark bring 2. And DJ Nell bring 1 like that, you know, for the kids. And then they need to bring their equipment, but nothing for Terrify or things like that. Because I know he was a little bit scared for the comment the DJ did in the internet. Because when he said, we're going to talk to 11 and play music to 3 o'clock loud, yeah? This is, he want to mean, we're going to dance, you know? Like we're going to do something. It's not like he terrified the neighborhood for music or things like that. And give my word, they don't want to give more than 2 speakers inside my place. Because I'm telling you, I'm going to put only 2 speakers, and 2 speakers going to be what they're going to have in my place.
Sorry, I keep thinking of more questions as I go along. You said you've got a gentleman that helps you with your noise levels. Has he spoken to you about installing a volume limiting device? So what that is, it's a device that can be installed into your property, and then you can have overall control over the noise levels, and the DJ speakers can then hook up to the system. So then it will be set at a certain level, and if it exceeds that level, then it will cut out completely. Has any discussion been had with you?
Oh, this is a good idea. We didn't talk about that.
Sorry, I couldn't understand the name of the device.
It's a volume limiting device, so an acoustic consultant could advise you on that, and obviously then it will set levels for where speakers are brought into the property, and if it exceeds a certain level, it will cut out completely.
Yeah, they was measure the level, like they cross the street and was measure the level. This is, he bring something, and he was measure the level. Yes, this is, I saw he measure the level, you know. He go across the street and measure the level. He go to the roundabout and measure the level. Maybe it's this thing you are telling me what.
Okay, just exploring a little bit more about this device. Has the local authority got some numbers for the acceptance of the level of the noise?
No, we haven't got any level because every property is different, so we could work with you on that one. Obviously, going forward, if complaints continue, we can go forward. It's a piece of equipment that you can use. The equipment that he would have used is a noise meter. Yeah, so to set the levels, the only thing with that, unless it's, sorry, I don't want to get too technical, unless it has a frequency analysis, which can pick up certain levels, like the bass, etc., it will pick up everything. So it will do the traffic, people walking past. It won't necessarily just pick up the noise from the restaurant. So unless he's really technical and he can work out the frequencies from the restaurant, and if he has got that on his noise meter, then it's not really useful. Your ears are better for the monitoring. Okay.
Any more questions, Lorraine?
Yes, sorry, there was one more, and it refers, you make reference to door staff and only having them when you have parties. I know you're only a small venue, but did you have any door staff for the Halloween party?
Yes.
You did? Okay then, thank you. That's all I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to hand over. Do you have any questions at all? Would you like to go first on the end?
Hi, Monica. You say that you're a small place and you need the extended license to make enough money so that you can sell alcohol for those extra hours. Can you make enough money with your 6 or 7 tables, or do you need extra people sort of standing up and filling the space? Because my concern there is that those people just migrate outside, and that actually what you need to make enough money is people standing on the street.
They stay on the street like when they go to Smoky, you know, and then they stay around the bar. They sit on the tables, you know, because I serve food. But they go outside, you know, when they want to smoke or they want to go outside. This is, you know, and the only thing I take care if they don't like having argument or talk very loud, you know, this is the only kind of control I can have. But I can't it doesn't tell people to go outside, you know, but they go outside. And you understand that this is answer your question?
sort of following on from that. So this summer was very hot, and obviously your place is small, and I can imagine inside it was quite hot. Have you got air conditioning in there? Because lots of people seem to be coming out because it was nice outside.
Just on that nature, I don't think that's relevant to the licensing application. Just because it's more of a planning matter.
I'm just thinking that that's why they're coming out, which I think.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, it's not relevant to this committee. I don't want to obviously blur the lines of where we are. So just move on to another one, please.
Okay. But sorry, Monica. So you're saying that people are going outside to enjoy the sun? Yeah.
I come there normally 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, and sometimes I leave Carioca 5 o'clock in the other day because I have to clean. I do almost everything by myself. And then I love to be in the sun, and sometimes I can't be there anymore, and I go outside. And sometimes I lay down on the garden, you know, and I used to have tables outside in the garden. But for don't have problems this summer again, you know, I put a shed there. And then now is a shed. And if somebody want to go out, you know, they go out in the front. You know, I build in a shed there for putting my shares and my things there, my belongs. And this is what I'm trying to do to don't make it like a bother the people the other side the fence, you know. But it's not everybody, because I don't know if it's you, but it's right behind my bar, you know. But I know some people from the building, they like me to be there also. And one guy, he was a Marine, but he's retired now, and he say, my bar brings life to his life, because he can't come in to the bar because he was alcoholic. But he opened all the windows for listening my music, and this is bring life to him again. Then, see, this was I telling you, we never can be, I don't know the word in English, but like, we never can do, como que a gente fala agradar todo mundo?
You can never please everyone.
Everyone, you know. He's very pleased when I have my music, and he opened the windows for listening my music because I gave life to him again. And some people close the window because the music bothered them, and I completely understand, you know. But we live in the center of South Sea, 3.5 minutes walk to the beach, and people want to be there, you know. And this is not every day, and you know that it's not every day, you know. Sometimes we stay late, but it's not every day. See, I'm there 1 year, and 4th of February going to be 1 year.
I think
have three complaints.
You've answered the question sufficiently. Do you want to go on to your next question?
So Monica, you say that if you get the license, you won't be using it every night, and you've said dates when you are likely to want it for your year anniversary and.
To Monday, or if you want to use Tuesday, depend of a birthday or a day of like, you understand?
Yeah. So why not ask for a temporary event license for those events that you know
Because
are
I
coming
have
up?
to pay at the time, and then I have to apply all the time, you know. And if I have the license, I paid for the license for once, you know. Why am I going to keep in doing if I can do only once, you know? And then you come to my place and say, Monica, can I do a party here tomorrow? And I said, yes, you can do it. Oh, no, I can't because I have to apply, you know. And if I have the license, I can do it, you know.
So somebody could say that to you every night of the year if they wanted to.
But this is so, we don't have Brazilian people enough for that.
Okay. And I've got one last question. So a lot of the problem is coming because, the club across the road, I actually hear less often than music from your place because they've got a sound lobby and they're really well soundproofed. And the issue with your place is that the door is opening and closing, as you say, all the time. People are coming in and out all the time. A sound lobby might help with that. So that would be a door where people come in, there's a space, then they go out, and those two doors sort of baffle the sound. But where you've moved the bars to the front, I don't think there's space for that now. So would that be something you would consider?
To put the other
Yeah, to make it what's called a sound lobby, I think.
door, for people. If the size of the door, who's going to decide for the size of the door is the architect go there and going to draw my door and see, Monica, you can have a door here. I don't need a lobby. I want a door only for close before open the second one.
Yeah, I think that is what is effectively a sound lobby. So it's a small area which contains the noise. I think that's what we're getting at. So yes, you do want to do that. I think that's quite apparent. Thank you. Do you have any more questions? Any more questions from? Okay, please.
My back garden backs onto your garden, and they're very small gardens, so it's just a fence between us. Well, last summer, you're talking a lot about the front, but what about the back and where I am? We hardly get a night's sleep with it, and the noise all day. And you're saying when you have the parties, and in the back, in your backyard there, and on a Sunday, starting early morning, all day, it might be your family, I don't know, it's packed. And the noise and the music, I used to like to stay in the back and have a read. Well, I can't do that anymore. And last summer, when it was really hot, we liked the windows open. We couldn't open the windows. We turned the telly right up because we couldn't hear it. And then we'd have to shut the windows after, so all evening we had the windows shut because the noise is so loud coming into my house.
As you told, we have kids, and the kids talk. Before you don't have noise because before was a dumping place there. And before that was a betting place. They doesn't use the garden. And now we are family. I have kids, we talk, and we don't put the music in my garden. And during the day, the music, if you stay music, is in the TV. Normally, is my TV on the front. It's very hard when you live too long time with no neighbors. And sometimes the neighbor come, and they have kids, is very, very hard to accept, because any noise is a big noise, The kids talking, and because when in the summertime was more kids in the backyard, was the kids, in the backyard, and they play there, but after 10 o'clock, I know they wasn't there because they wasn't inside in the bar, or the adults I try to control to don't go outside in the garden after 10 o'clock because I know I have neighbors, And this is... Você tem alguma coisa a falar? Não. Fala.
Any more questions?
As I say, I hear the music till 11 o'clock in the summer. At the moment, it's all right. I'm quite happy when it rains and it's cold because it's quiet at the moment. But we'll start again in the spring and summer. So I'm not getting much sleep now. So that's open until 3 o'clock of a morning, if you get this granted. I won't get any sleep.
But I open it anyways to 2 o'clock,
I don't expect to have to go to bed till gone 2 every night.
But
because apart from when you finish that music, you're still there. I can see you all in the kitchen, in the garden, and that noise still goes on for another half hour, another hour. So, I like to go to bed often at 10 or half 10. Waste of time because you're too hot. You can't have your windows open. So, even now sometimes in the summer, it's like midnight when I get to sleep. So does that mean I'm going to have to, stay awake till 2, 3 in the morning?
I don't know, because 10 o'clock in the summer, because we live in a very cold country, yes? And the people love summertime. People love to enjoy summertime. And the South Sea is life, you know? And the 10 o'clock in South Sea, during the summertime, everything is open. We have the sun is still up, you know? And I don't ask you for change your life, of course, but this is not in my control to don't have people talking, because it's summertime. You see, in the wintertime, I'm very quiet. As you said, oh, I can sleep, you know. But then how, my honor, I don't know what to answer. I don't have any.
I think you sufficiently answered it. I don't think there's
I'm
anything.
so sorry.
I don't think there's any much more else to add. Is there any more questions, Mrs. Matthews, at all? Do you have any questions on the end there?
I do, but I'm not entirely sure whether or not you would allow its relevance.
Try it.
When you were looking for premises for your business, did you look elsewhere, or were you specifically only looking at the roundabout by the beach?
I'll allow that.
Yes, I look in Alberson Road and the Palmerston Road, you know, but there is 3 minutes from the beach. I'm from the beach, and there I feel home, you know, and there the place I was, and I was a housekeeper, you know, and I washed a lot of toilets to be there, and there was the place I chose, and about that I don't want to give up so easy, you know, because if another one was giving up already, you know, but this was my dream to open Carioca, and when I saw that place, you know, the energy there is so good, you know, and we are people with a very good energy. Come, enjoy us, try to see what we have inside, give opportunity to know me, you know, and how many times I ask, come and have dinner with me, and because this is, I'm sure this is going to bother you less, you know, than you only say the Brazilian bar, the Brazilian people, you know.
I did not make that
No,
comment.
no, I just don't want to stress into that. I don't think that anyone's made those sorts of comments here today. Okay, do you have any more questions?
Yes, sorry, I just got sidetracked. There was something that wasn't properly answered earlier. No, it's gone.
Are you sure? Okay, thank you. I was just going to move on to thank you as well for your questions. Move on to the responsible authorities case, which is yourself, Lorraine. Would you like to put forward the case from Environmental Health? Thank you.
Thank you. Obviously, as we've heard, the I can't say it properly, Carico Bar is in Clarendon Road, on a bank of shops, which is a coffee shop, a laundrette and a chip shop, and also further down the road is a Premier food shop. It's not part within the local, what we call nighttime economy area, like Albert Road, Palmerston Road, Guildhall Square, Gun Wharf. It is a predominantly residential area, although there is one club across the road which has been mentioned to you in passing. We've had a number of complaints in relation to this property 2 months after the premise licence was issued. The main concern from the residents was the noise from the entertainment that was provided. Some of this entertainment was obviously earlier on in the evening, around about 9 o'clock, before the permitted hours under the licensing Live Music Act. We have had complaints exceeding these hours, but as we've heard, the applicant wasn't aware of the hours that she was permitted to have regulated entertainment. The applicant has been spoken to on numerous occasions, as you've heard, but we still continued to receive complaints from this property. The last complaint that we received was on the 12th of December which the officer didn't witness anything on this occasion. So we can't confirm that's where the noise was coming from. The actual structure of the building is not really suitable to have entertainment into the early hours of the morning. It has been proven that they can have some form of entertainment up until 11 o'clock because we haven't received any complaints since the 12th of December that's been justified. The main part that raises concern is the front structure of the premises, which is all glazing. And obviously with the door opening and closing, the noise escapes out of it. Dependent upon the type of music that's going to be played at parties, etc., if there's any bass element to it, that can penetrate the glazing quite easily and reach the residents. There's no lobby door at the front of the building, so it just opens straight out onto the street. When parties have been taken place and entertainment's been provided, there's been a concern over the number of people out on the front, outside the property, talking, smoking. This feels that it's not been controlled adequately, and this raises concerns again if customers were allowed to be out on the street till 3 o'clock in the morning. The background noise levels drop because you don't get the passing traffic, and so obviously any noise is heightened to residents. They can hear it more clearly. It feels that the applicant, although she may not be aware, has not taken responsibility and taken control of another premises to provide entertainment to her customers because her premises has not been large enough. It would appear that they only have only have door staff, because that could be another way of controlling noise from the door when parties are taken place. For the 10s that's been discussed previously is the same reason why these were refused, because it felt that the applicant could not reasonably control any noise from the property that would cause a disturbance to the residents into the early hours of the morning. It is therefore wish that you take this into consideration, that any late entertainment until 3 o'clock will therefore cause sleep deprivation to residents in the area and cause a nuisance to them. The applicant made reference to having entertainment until 3 o'clock. Normally, where bars, clubs have entertainment, they have what's called like a downtime, where the music is stopped about an hour beforehand, and then this gives the customers time to come down, if you like, so that the atmosphere calms down and that they leave the area a lot calmer rather than still being, I want to say, hyped up. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, before they leave the property. Nothing's been discussed about the actual dispersion of customers from the premise at 3 o'clock in the morning. So therefore, it's anticipated that there, again, will be hanging around waiting for taxis, which is another cause for concern, cars pulling up, and just hanging around the area, causing disturbance to the residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. Members, do we have any questions? Councillor Holder?
I think in the report it states that the building is flat-fronted and single-glazed. Will having a sound lobby make much difference? Is it practical to make this building soundproof?
I believe that putting a lobby in on a glazed front won't make a lot of difference. I think the whole front of the facade will need to be altered, probably make the glazing smaller, and then put a lobby door in will make a lot of difference. So that obviously then there's financial implications to do this.
Councillor Gerard, do you have any questions? No, I don't have any questions at all for you, Lorraine. Do you have any questions, Ben?
Just one question. It might be an idiotic one, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you think acoustic curtains to the front glazing might assist, or is that... obviously, the door opening is still going to allow for noise escape, and that's probably the biggest issue, I suspect. That's what you're going to say, is it?
Yeah, the door is the main problem with people coming in, and normally acoustic curtains only reduces the level to a certain amount, and to be honest, it would be better having a more solid structure that would stop any bass from penetrating the property.
Thank you. Do you have any more questions? No? No, nothing. Okay. Do you have any questions for Lorraine?
About the window in the front of Carioca, yes. But this was before I take out all the speakers. You know, we had in the summertime 6 speakers, and now we have only 2. And it's soundproof if it was a club, yes. But for 2 speakers, you know, and we can hear something, but nothing like before, because 6 to 2 is a lot of difference, you know. And I would like to see if I'm able to try with 2 speakers, you know, or certain level, measure the level of the music, as you said, you know, before I do something in the front of the bar, because the window, you know, is bring like everything for me is life, you know, it's bring life because the sun, because it's very big, things like that. And as I reduce a lot, more than 70% of the music, because it was 6 for 2, you know, is a lot of speakers. And then probably, you know, if you guys can give me a chance to measure or see if this is going to work, you know, before change the front of the bar and put a big wall and look like a club, because it's not I don't want a club, you know. I want a place when people go there and drink with the kids, you know, and have our Brazilian beer, and, you know.
Okay, do you want to just answer the question regarding the speakers, please?
Yeah, with regards to the speakers, it will reduce the noise levels, but obviously the door opening and closing is still going to make, you're still going to hear the noise escaping from the building. Also, the glazing, I don't know what type of music your DJ plays, so even if it has any bass content, it will escape through the glazing. The residents, we haven't had any complaints since, like I say, December. I think that's because you've had your parties over Christmas, yes, which we didn't get any complaints for, because that was like acceptable. New Year, Christmas Eve, so that was acceptable in the terms of the residents. And I think the residents will probably have more tolerance with the music finishing at 11 o'clock, as you have it in your existing licence under the Live Music Act, than they would if it continued until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Any more questions?
Yes, a very briefly one. I'm sure that you all know about the footballs, and when you've got, like, for example, in Fulham, at the tube station, they've got like a board when there will be the next match. Yeah, I think that could be a suggestion if the local authority might accept it and she might get the license. If, for example, when they're going to have a party at Carioca, she put a board in front of the bar stating the date and the time for that particular party, where all the local residents can become familiar with?
I don't think that's relevant to a condition. That's just something that you would do.
Would it be possible?
I think that would be something that you would have to do on your own back. I don't think that is something we could add as a condition. Is that right, Glenn?
Sorry, Chair, I was making a note of something else. I missed the flow of the conversation.
About having a board within the window of the premises every time they want to have a party. I don't think we can do that as a measurable condition.
If that's something that they're offering to do, then it's certainly something that you can take into consideration. But I think probably the wisest thing to do is to ask the environmental health what their view is of such a measure. But it's something you could condition if it's something that was offered and you considered it appropriate after hearing from
It's
all
a very
parties.
bizarre one. I've never heard it in my 7 years of sat in this chair.
I have known premises that have particular noise baffles that they place over windows at certain times, noise-sensitive times later on in the evening. But as I say, the environmental health officer is the expert.
Can you
here.
answer that for us, please, Lorraine?
Yeah, I mean, you can get noise baffles that you can put up against the windows, like acoustic sound insulation, additional that you could add, and then add a lobby to your door that may lessen some of your noise, but that would be something that you would have to take on board from an acoustic consultant to give you that advice.
I think it was more about the notification, so there was going to be a board in the window notifying if there was any parties.
I don't see the relevance of that because it's not. If it's just a board to notify residents of when the entertainment is, I don't see any relevance of what that is going to do apart from notify the residents when that's going to take place.
I mean, do you see any strength in that in terms of a condition point of view?
It's entirely would be at your remit as to whether or not you think it would be appropriate. You've heard from environmental health that it's not obviously not going to affect the noise escape. It's just merely going to warn people so that they can potentially prepare for the noise escape. So what weight you would want to attach to that is a matter for yourselves. And
No, I do appreciate that. It's something that I've not really come across, so it's quite interesting. Do we have any more questions at all? No more questions, thank you. Do we have any questions for environmental health? You've made a representation, sir, you can make a question. No, sorry, you haven't made a representation. So if you haven't made a representation...
He lives in the house with me.
No, it's a very... What you could... if you would like to ask a question, that's fine.
I was thinking the same thing, actually. You keep mentioning the noise levels in the front, but you don't mention it at the back. And I get everything at the back because I'm so close to your back.
When they're cooking.
This is for the environmental health officer. Can you just take that question, Lorraine?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of any complaint. Sorry to interrupt you. Have you actually made a complaint to environmental health?
No, we've done it to the different councillors before, but we never get a reply.
Okay, I apologise, and that's why we wasn't aware that there is any complaints coming from the back.
No.
So when they're in the back, or the summer, like I say, I can't read because it's so noisy. We have to shut our windows. And in the summer, when we had that real hot spell, you don't want your windows shut, do you? You want bedroom windows open as well. I had friends stay just before Christmas, and they couldn't sleep. So I don't like to have friends round in the summer anymore and stay, or relatives.
Anything to add to that, Lorraine? No, okay, no worries. Just going to move over to, obviously, representations that have been... It's not... Okay, is it a question or a comment? You can make a quick comment, but I'm keen to move on to the representation.
Firstly, I'm going to ask her one question. If I make something like for me to screw on the window when I have a party, okay, as you said, with the foam and the wood, and then I take it out when I don't have a party, this is going to be acceptable?
That is more a question for me and for the committee to decide whether we would like to do that, and we would decide that under our deliberations and whether we want to add a condition of that nature. So that will be something that you'll have to wait and see on that one when we make our decision.
Okay.
So I want to move on to the representations if I can.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to start at the far end because I'm conscious that I started at this end earlier.
Hello. So I would like to say, firstly, that I fully understand the problems that you have had from your side. I work in a music venue. I understand the difficulties surrounding that. But I do feel that you have spent your year of education, as you call it. That education should have been done before you got your licence. The noise is... I can cope with the noise as it currently stands because I know that it will stop around midnight and things will calm down. And I can pick up from the questions that my neighbours here have been making that the concern is that even though you are currently saying that you want this licence only to have parties on set dates, a small number of dates throughout the year, if this licence is granted, at any time you can change your mind on that and be opening on a Monday until 3 a.m. with loud music, on a Tuesday until 3 a.m. with loud music, over and over and over again. I appreciate the fact that you suggested that maybe if we gave you a warning with a board outside, that's great. Now, as a younger person, I might decide, okay, I'll go stay at my friend's for that evening, that's fine, but I would not expect that of an elderly couple. That's not a fair representation of the residential area, and I don't feel as if you gave sufficient investigation into the fact that this is a residential area. I accept that you answered my question earlier and you said that you looked at Albert Road, you looked at Palmerston Road. In terms of policing, in terms of encouraging more footfall to your bar, going to one of those areas would have been far more beneficial for your business.
Ms. Hadley, no, just can you do it through me? It's probably better through me as the chair.
Sorry. For policing, for the nighttime economy, for improving footfall to her bar, then it would definitely have been better to look at Albert Road, Palmerston Road, the places that are already nighttime economy. And I feel as if a very, very cursory investigation of the area would show that there are elderly people's bungalows just around the corner from this bar. Yes, we do have the nightclub. They have made effort with soundproofing. They have security staff. The lack of security staff at this bar is problematic because I don't think there's any level of understanding there that the security part of their remit and part of my remit, working security, is policing the smoking area, policing the pavement, making sure that our customers are not impeding the thoroughfare, not upsetting other people, making sure that we are compliant with sound regulations. That is part of our job as door supervisors. Without those staff there on a regular basis and sufficient staff there on a regular basis, problems are arising. I'm not going to touch on the Brazilian drums during the World Cup and how incredibly upsetting and distressing that was to me because I had not made a complaint to the council. I fully intended to do so, but then Brazil got knocked out of the World Cup and I knew that that was going to stop. But there was nothing, no warning of that. The regular noise, I walk home usually as they're closing, so I know that by the time I've got home, I've got undressed, it will have stopped. If I'm going to be coming home now to 3 a.m. parties, as and when they choose to do so, with insufficient soundproofing at the front. And I know from experience of where I work that having just single glazing at the front, the hoops that we have jumped through, the cost, the money that we have put into the venue to try and solve the complaints of one neighbour, and I feel like we are not being listened to here sufficiently.
Okay, no, thank you for your representation. I appreciate that as well. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
One thing that she mentioned earlier on was the fact that she has improved the area by opening this bar. I think to a degree that is true, in that it wasn't pleasant having an empty betting shop, and we do have issues of people hanging around the neighbourhood, drugs, drinking during the daytime. It's not been pleasant, and I think having an active business there has made an improvement. But for every pro, there is a con, and the con is considerable when it is noise and it is disrupting. people's
Okay.
ability to sleep.
Thank you for that. I'd like to move on to the next representation.
Sorry, Chair. I don't know whether you wanted to take questions independently for each.
No, I would do
resident or
them.
just
I
do
would
it
do all
as
the
a-
representations
at
as I would normally.
Just
Yeah.
say thank you.
I think that's the best way. Please carry on.
This is your chance.
To make your representation to me regarding the variation of the licence.
Well, there shouldn't, like this lady just said, this neighbour, there should never have been a restaurant put there, not with all that noise. You know, we've already got a cafe there. And I never expected to have loud music again every night like that in the summer and not be able to sleep. We used to have the lounge across the other way. That used to be bad. That was stopped. I used to work at the Crown Court, and the police were pleased when every nightclub all along the seafront, everywhere, all went into the Guildhall. So they were there all evening and at night when they came out. And they were so pleased. And then, as I say, the lounge went as well, and it was so lovely there then. But now, we have got that other club back, but they've got complete soundproofing. But we still hear it, and a lot of the neighbours do, when they come out 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning, especially Thursday night is a bad night. And the noise, the car doors, they're screaming, they're shouting. In fact, the manager put a leaflet around a lot of the doors, and I rang him not long ago, and he said he's had a lot of complaints on that. But he has spent so much money on the soundproof for this club, you know, that he will lose such a lot. I did feel sorry for him, but he's had so many complaints of the noise when they all come out. The car doors, the slamming, and we are next to the car park. But a lot of it is taxis, but it's a terrible noise. So you're woken up by 2 or 3 in the morning by that as well. And I have a job to get off to sleep again. So, you know, and there we got this restaurant as well. And as I say, you're all talking about the front, but not the back so much, with soundproof. And we hear everything. So it's not very good at the moment there.
No, thank you for that.
Thank
Go on
you.
to the final representation.
I'd just like to say that I think the restaurant is lovely. You know, it's actually brought a lot of vibrancy to the area. It's really nice. I love walking past and hearing Portuguese voices. I actually really liked it during the summer when they had people, not just speakers outside, but people actually standing outside singing. But that's because I don't live opposite. I live sort of a block away. But a block away, I can hear the noise. I can hear the music. And I can cope knowing that it's going to stop at 11 and then there's going to be lots of talking, but that'll die down by midnight. But I can't cope thinking that that's going to go on till 3 o'clock in the morning and then another hour on the top as well. So I think Monica's been talking about how she doesn't want a club, she wants a family place, but it is a club with a music licence till 3 o'clock in the morning. That's a club by any other name. And I think, so there's a prevention of public nuisance, but there's also another thing which is prevention of disorder. So that's a noise issue, but there's also, I think, the Monica's approach to the place is to go outside when it's warm and have a sort of street atmosphere, and I can totally get why that is, and it's very sort of European Brazilian type of approach to nightlife. But that means that even if the sound and the music is somehow confined to the business, and I cannot see how that's possible, there's a lot of people spilling out onto the pavement all the time. You have to cross over to get past them. There hasn't been much disorder, but I think there's a potential for it, and there have been little scuffles and what have you. It's a nice place, and I don't want to see her fold, but if she needs a licence till 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't think it can happen in that business, which is a one-room, is a one-room thing. Moving the music to the back hasn't had any effect. It's a tiny place.
No, thank you for your representation. I appreciate that, and thank you for coming today as well. Members, do you have any questions for the representations? Councillor Gerardo? Come back to me. Councillor Holder? We'll go back to you quickly. I don't have any questions, and I just want to say thank you again. I'm going to hand over to the applicant. Do you have any questions to anyone that's made a representation? Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions, Derek? No. Any questions, Ben? Any questions, Lorraine? No. Okay. We're going to go back to yourselves for summing up, because we're now into summing up. I'm going to start from this corner. Is there anything else you would like to add? This is your ability to do so. Anything you'd like to add? No? Anything you'd like to add?
Yes, I don't want this lady's business to fold. And I fully understand that with such a small venue, to make the revenue, she needs the parties. I fully understand that. I just don't think that this was properly thought through when selecting these premises. And I think she would benefit from moving to other premises for her business. I would like to go to her business, but I work in the nighttime economy. I don't have the opportunity to go out. But I would love to see that thriving somewhere else, somewhere which will be more beneficial for her business and better for the community.
Thank you. I'm going to hand over to Derek. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Lorraine, anything you'd like to add? No. Anything you'd like to add, Ben? No. Okay. This is your last opportunity to sum up. Is there anything you would like to add before we go into our closed session?
Your Honor, I completely understand all my neighbors, you know, and when they say about they're scared for the noise every day to 3 o'clock in the morning. But if we can, like, if you have a decision for giving some nights a week, you know, and I don't need every day of the week, but if you can give him some nights a week, you understand what I mean? Because and then I can do something. Because for who is out, it's easy to say it's better you move. But who is in is only me and myself, you know, who did the Carioca, and it's not easy to pay the bills there or make Carioca, because there doesn't have nothing. I did everything there, and if I have like £100,000 for move to another place, you know, certainly I'm gonna move for a big place or another place, but I don't have. I have to stay there for survive, because now I have to survive, me and my kids, and the only place I have is there. Then, if you can, of course, if you think it can give me not the license for all days of the year, but some days of the week, you know, for me to be able to play music too late, you know. And this is going to be in the middle, not. You understand what I mean? No.
Yeah. I believe the local authority, Lorraine, she made a really good comment in things that can be implemented to try to minimize the nuisance. So I think if you could give you the opportunity to Monica to try to implement these new ideas, it to be facilitating with the neighbors, with less noise, and she still carry on doing the parties. So I believe it's just a matter of adjustment. Because before, she didn't have that mindset in regards to the business, what she really needs, how she was doing. And now after a year, so she knows where she's standing at, and she got a better idea now how she can make Carioca better for the community and better for her clients. So I was looking on the internet what Lorraine said. It's affordable, so it's just a matter to try to implement together with the license.
Thank you very much. I am going to just go around the room and just ask if everyone's happy with what they've said or they wish. Is everyone happy they said what they wish? Brilliant. Are you happy you said what you wanted to say? Lorraine? Are you happy with you said everything?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go into our closed session now for deliberation. So I do need you all to please leave the room while we do so. and we will probably come back just after 5:30.
Yeah, I think what we can say is it's going to be at least 5:30.
At least 5:30.
So it may take the subcommittee longer than that, but you can go away and be confident that the subcommittee is not going to reconvene. It's not going to start announcing a decision before. Nothing else is going to happen before 5:30.